All right, everyone, get ready because today we are going deep, deep into the world of Nagano Tonic.
Nagano tonic.
You know, that supplement that's like, hey, we've got the secrets of longevity straight from Japan.
Right.
So we're going to be breaking down a podcast episode we found all about Nagano Tonic. It features a Nagano Tonic marketing rep. But our goal here isn't just to say like, yay, it's amazing, or nay, it's a scam. We really want to give you the tools to think critically about these kinds of claims.
I love that.
You know,
Yeah.
because there's so much out there.
Right. And this is a good one to kind of unpack because it is a very slick marketing campaign.
It is.
The way that they tie it to,
Oh, yeah.
you know, this idea of longevity and the health of people in Nagano, Japan.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
It's marketing gold, right?
It is.
Like everyone wants to tap into that, and it plays on this, you know,
like a bit of exoticism too, right?
a little bit, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This kind of you know, ancient wisdom sort of thing.
Yep.
But we have to ask, you know, is there really any substance to that connection?
Right.
Or is it just clever marketing,
Right.
you know, to make the product seem more appealing?
Exactly. And who wouldn't want a little piece of that Nagano magic, right?
Right.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
I do want to point out that the marketing rep did say, like, Nagano Tonic isn't like some overnight miracle.
Right.
You know, you're not going to just take it and suddenly be, you know, 20 pounds lighter and have perfect health.
It's about working with your body.
They emphasize this idea of sustainable weight loss
Right.
through
Boosted metabolism.
boosted metabolism. They talk about improved digestion and this idea of like you're burning fat more efficiently
Yes.
while you're keeping that muscle.
Right.
You've worked so hard.
Yeah, that's a big selling point. It is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, especially when people think about weight loss, they're concerned about losing muscle mass.
Exactly. It's like the Holy Grail, right?
It is, yeah.
Can you really target fat and preserve muscle?
Yeah.
That's the dream.
For sure.
Right.
Well, and they talk about, you know,
Yeah.
they really lean into this idea of what are called thermogenic compounds.
Thermogenic, yes. We're going to break that down.
Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit more, but the idea is that these compounds basically raise your body temperature.
Okay.
And that forces you to burn more calories.
Okay. So you're like you're almost like tricking your body into thinking it's
Right.
exercising harder or something.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, and there's a little bit of truth to that. I mean,
Okay.
think about how you feel when you eat spicy food.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You get all sweaty.
You get sweaty. Your metabolism does kick up a bit.
Okay.
So it's not, you know, completely out there.
Yeah.
But the real question is, like, how significant is that effect?
Right.
And how long does it last?
Right.
And, you know, are the ingredients in Nagano Tonic actually going to do that?
Okay.
That's the question.
All right. So let's break it down, like,
Yeah.
for our listeners who might not be, you know, super familiar with all the sciencey stuff.
Right.
What does thermogenic mean
It took like,
in like layman's terms?
yeah, it means that.
Or like what should we imagine when we hear that?
Certain compounds can basically increase your metabolism
Okay.
temporarily, right? It's kind of like how your body heats up during exercise.
Okay.
So it's similar to that.
Sure.
But as you said, the key is, do the ingredients in Nagano Tonic actually deliver on that?
Right.
That's what we need to find out.
Okay. So speaking of ingredients, there were a couple they really emphasized.
Yes.
Green tea extract and L-carnitine.
Yes.
Do those ring a bell?
They do. Those are pretty common in weight loss supplements.
Oh, yeah.
And there is some research to back them up.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So green tea extract,
Yeah.
you know, it's got those catechins and caffeine.
Uh-huh.
And there are studies showing that it can increase metabolism and fat oxidation.
Okay.
In fact, one study found it boosted metabolism by like 4%.
Wow.
Which
Yeah.
is, you know, not
huge.
not huge, but it's something.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And then L-carnitine, that helps transport fatty acids into cells to be burned for energy.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a helper molecule
Okay. Got
to
it.
get those fatty acids where they need to be burned.
Okay. So there's at least like a theoretical basis for some of the claims that they're
Yeah.
making, but
Yeah, but the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
You know, we need to look closer.
yeah. And what I found really interesting was how much they talked about gut health.
Yes.
You know,
Big focus on that.
huge focus on that. Like how Nagano tonic is going to improve your digestion, nutrient absorption, fewer cravings, more energy. It's like they're really tapping into that whole wellness trend.
The gut health is huge right now.
Huge, yes.
And for good reason. It's a really fascinating area of research.
Yeah.
You know, we know the gut microbiome plays a huge role in weight management.
Okay.
Imbalances in your gut bacteria can affect your metabolism.
Oh, wow.
Inflammation, even how your body stores fat.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. But the question is, you know, can a tonic really influence all of that?
Right. Like, can it really have that kind of impact?
Yeah. And how much of an impact can it have?
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's a big question mark.
And they do mention probiotics and digestive enzymes.
Yeah.
Which those are two things we hear a lot about
all the time
when it comes to gut health.
Yeah,
so
right.
Fill us in.
So probiotics, they're live bacteria, beneficial bacteria.
Okay.
And digestive enzymes, they help break down food.
Okay.
So both of those can play a role in a healthy gut.
Okay.
But their effectiveness, it depends on the specifics.
Okay.
Like the specific strains of bacteria, the dosages.
Got it.
You know, it's not just a one-size-fits-all thing.
So it's not just about having those ingredients. It's about the specifics.
Because the strains.
The strains.
The dosages.
And even then, everyone's gut is different.
Right.
So what works for one person might not work for another.
Okay.
So that's an important thing to keep in mind
when
you're looking at these kinds of products.
Are we starting to see a theme here?
Perhaps.
Like interesting ideas, but not necessarily
a lot of strong evidence
Yeah.
to back up the specific claims that they're making about Nagano tonic.
Interesting. All right. So.
But wait, there's more? Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
It gets even more.
It gets juicier.
Juicy.
It does.
Okay, tell me more.
Because they didn't just stop at weight loss and gut health.
Okay.
Nagano tonic also claims to boost your energy and cognitive function without the caffeine jitters.
All right. Now we're talking.
Right.
This is like everyone's
It's the holy grail.
This is the dream, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
More energy, better focus, but without that caffeine crash.
It's shaky.
Yeah, exactly. Like anxiety.
Yeah.
So they're saying we can give you all the good stuff without the bad stuff.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they attribute these effects to what are called adaptogens, like ashwagandha and ginseng.
Okay.
Now, these herbs have been used in traditional medicine for a long time.
Okay.
Particularly for combating stress and fatigue.
So for our listener who, maybe isn't up on all the latest herbal trends, what is an adaptogen?
So adaptogens are basically a class of plants that are believed to help your body adapt to stress.
Okay.
So think of them as like helping your body stay balanced when you're faced with physical, mental, or even environmental stressors.
So it's like they're giving your body
tools
to deal with stress more effectively.
Yeah, to kind of roll with the punches a little bit better.
Okay, so less stress, more focus, more energy.
In theory.
Yes, it's tempting.
It's very tempting.
Right.
It is.
To jump on that bandwagon.
It's very appealing.
Especially if you're not dealing with the caffeine downsides.
Exact.
But I'm sensing there might be a but here.
Well, there's always a but.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, while some of the research on adaptogens is promising, we have to remember that everyone responds differently.
Okay.
And we need a lot more research to really understand their long-term effects.
Okay.
And the optimal dosages.
Okay, so we're seeing a theme here.
A pattern is emerging, isn't it?
Some promising ideas. But not necessarily.
Not a lot of hard science to back it up.
Yeah, okay, but let's be real.
Yeah.
The question on everyone's mind is,
does it work?
Does this stuff actually work?
Right.
And the podcast host, the one we're analyzing,
yeah,
did ask about that. You know, they were like, hey, what are people saying?
Right. What about the customer experiences?
Yeah. Yeah. And the marketing rep was very quick to point out all the positive feedback.
Of course they were.
Right.
That's marketing 101.
Yeah, yeah.
Share those testimonials, make it sound appealing.
Okay, but those personal experiences, they can be really compelling.
They can.
Right.
They can.
If you hear someone saying, oh my gosh, I lost weight.
Right.
I have so much more energy. My digestion is amazing.
I'm in a better mood.
Right. It's tempting.
It's so tempting to believe it.
It is.
Right.
It is.
But we can't just take that
we can't.
Face value.
We can't just take it at face value.
Okay, why not?
Because it's anecdotal evidence.
Okay.
It's not scientific proof.
Okay, explain that.
So it's possible that some people genuinely experience those benefits.
Okay.
But we don't know for sure if it was because of Nagano tonic or because of other changes they might have made. Like maybe they started exercising more.
Right.
Maybe they changed their diet.
Okay.
You know, there are a lot of factors that could be at play.
Okay, so it's like we don't know what the cause and effect really is.
Exactly.
Right.
We don't know if it was the tonic or something else
that
made the difference.
Okay, that's a really important point. And I did notice that the marketing rep did kind of acknowledge this.
They did. They said that results vary. And they're best achieved when combined with a healthy lifestyle.
Right. So
it's almost like they're kind of covering their bases a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Right.
Like they're acknowledging that it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
But they're also kind of saying, hey, if it doesn't work for you, maybe you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, yeah, that's
it's a little bit of a tricky...
A little bit sneaky.
He's a little bit sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even if Nagano tonic does have some positive effects,
right?
It's not going to work miracles on its own.
Exactly. It's not a magic bullet. It's part of a bigger picture.
Okay. Well, that's a really valuable insight.
It is.
And I think this is a good place to pause for now.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground already.
We've unpacked a lot.
We have.
Yeah.
But we're not done yet.
Oh, there's more. There's more to come.
Oh, I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
You know, it's almost like they're saying, hey, if you're not getting the results, you know, maybe you're just not trying hard enough.
Right.
With the diet and exercise.
Like it's your fault, not the tonic's
It's
fault.
a clever way to kind of, you know, manage those expectations, maybe deflect some criticism, but you know, let's shift gears a little bit here.
Okay.
And think about, you know, what are our listeners taking away from all of this? Yeah. How can they evaluate a product like Nagano tonic and really make informed decisions about their health?
That's the $1,000,000 question.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Like, what questions should we be asking when we're, you know, just bombarded with all this marketing?
Right. Especially in the world of supplements.
Yes. Especially supplements. It's hard to know.
It is. So for starters, look beyond the flashy marketing.
And really examine those ingredients. Do they actually have any scientific backing for the claimed benefits?
Okay.
Are the dosages enough to actually make a difference?
Okay.
And remember, just because an ingredient is listed doesn't mean it's there in a meaningful amount.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have a tiny little sprinkle of something.
Right. Just so they can say it's in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to look at those dosages.
That's a great point. And you know, we talked about the green tea extract, L-carnitine.
Yeah.
But what about some of the other ingredients they mentioned, like the probiotics, the digestive enzymes? Like, is there actual research to support those claims?
That's where things get a little bit tricky.
Okay.
Because not all probiotics are created equal.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Their effects can vary a lot depending on the specific strains.
So, you know, you'd want to look into that.
So we're back to that specificity thing.
Specificity, it's all about the details. You got to dig deeper.
Okay. And it's not enough to just be like, oh, it has probiotics, so it must be good for me.
Exact.
We need to be way more...
We need to be discerning consumers.
Yes.
Okay.
And even if there's, you know, some preliminary research on individual ingredients, that doesn't necessarily mean that the product
as a whole
has been rigorously tested.
Right. It's like that whole
parts.
Some of the parts.
Right. Just because something contains ingredients that, you know, individually might have shown some promise. Doesn't mean they're going to work together
in that specific way.
In that specific formulation, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
And that brings us to another really crucial point.
Okay.
Look for evidence beyond testimonials.
Personal experiences can be compelling, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
But they're not a substitute for scientific studies.
So ideally, we want to see if there have been any, like, clinical trials or controlled studies on Nagano tonic itself.
On the product as a whole.
Not just the individual ingredients.
Exactly.
Okay, so...
Like, does it actually work?
Yeah. Does it actually do what it says it's going to do?
Right.
Okay.
That's what you want to know.
And I imagine those studies would have to involve, like, a significant number of people.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a handful of positive reviews?
Sample size is crucial.
Okay.
You need a large enough group of people to make the results meaningful.
Okay, that makes sense.
And ideally, you want to see studies that have been published in reputable scientific journals where they've been peer-reviewed.
Okay, so it's like the difference between, like relying on like
word of mouth
versus going to like
a medical professional.
A medical professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want that higher level of like
credibility.
Credibility. Yeah.
Exactly.
And speaking of credibility, I think it's always a good idea to be wary of products that
make really grand claims.
Yeah. Or promise, like quick fixes.
Oh, yeah. If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Sustainable weight loss.
Yeah.
Health improvements. It takes time.
It takes work.
It takes effort.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. It's not a quick fix.
It's not a sprint. Yeah.
It's not a sprint.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Okay. So like those, like lose 10 pounds in a week type claims.
Red flag.
Big red flag.
Absolutely.
Right.
Remember, there's no magic bullet.
Right.
A balanced diet, regular exercise, managing stress. These are the foundational pillars of good health.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely.
No supplement can replace those things.
They're essential.
They are essential.
Yeah.
So, going back to the marketing around Nagano Tonic, they made a point of mentioning this connection to
Nagano, Japan.
Nagano, Japan.
And how people there live long and healthy lives.
Right. Is there any validity to that claim?
Yeah, that's what initially caught my attention too.
Yeah.
Like, is there really something?
Is there really a connection between this tonic and the long, healthy lives people in Nagano are known for?
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And to be fair, people in Nagano do have exceptionally long lifespans.
Okay.
They generally have good health.
Okay.
But to attribute that solely to a specific tonic is a bit of a stretch.
Okay. So there's more to the story.
There's always more to the story.
Like what?
Well, numerous factors contribute to longevity and health.
Oh, okay.
Genetics, lifestyle, diet, environment, access to healthcare. These all play a role. While a specific tonic might play a small role, it's highly unlikely to be the sole reason for, the health and longevity.
Right. It's like saying French people drink red wine.
Exactly.
So if I drink a lot of red wine, I'm going to be as healthy as the average French person.
Perfect example.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a whole cultural context.
It's not a one-to-one correlation.
Right.
It's not that simple.
Okay.
And that's why critical thinking is so crucial.
Yeah.
We need to be able to separate the marketing hype from the reality.
Right.
And look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
Don't just buy into a product because it claims to be inspired by a specific culture or region.
Right.
Dig deeper. Consider all the factors involved.
I like that. Dig deeper.
Yeah.
That's good.
Be a savvy consumer.
Be a savvy consumer, yes.
Yeah.
I think we've done a pretty good job.
I think so, too.
Of, unpacking.
We've unpacked these claims.
Claims around Nagano Tonic.
Yeah. We've explored the potential benefits.
Yeah.
The limitations.
Yeah.
And really, highlighted the importance of
that critical thinking. Yes.
When evaluating
these kinds of products.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so important.
Yeah, I think our listeners are walking away with
I hope so.
A lot more.
A much better understanding.
Yeah. Of how to approach this stuff.
Yeah, to be those savvy consumers.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up completely,
okay,
I want to leave everyone with one final thought.
Ooh, I like it.
A little something to chew on. Okay, so we've talked a lot about what the marketing says, but I'm curious. What if, we wanted to design a study to really, really test this stuff?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
It gets to the heart of how do we actually know if something works?
Right.
So first of all, you'd need a big group of people.
Okay.
And not just all the same kind of people, right? Different ages, different
backgrounds, different lifestyles,
representative of who might actually use this.
Exactly, because you want to see how it works in the real world.
Okay, yeah.
And then just as important, you need a control group.
Okay.
People who are getting a placebo.
Okay, so we can compare.
You can compare.
And see if it's really the Nagano Tonic or just the idea of taking something.
The placebo effect, right.
Right, or maybe they're just paying more attention to their health in general.
Exactly. So you got to control for that.
Okay.
And then you'd want to track like all sorts of things, not just weight loss, but like body composition, energy levels, gut health markers, even like mood and cognitive function.
Wow. It's like a whole body.
It's a comprehensive look at their health.
And we'd have to make sure like everyone's like eating the same.
You got to control for diet.
Diet and exercising the same amount.
And exercise,
Otherwise, it's not a fair comparison.
Exactly. You're comparing apples and oranges.
Right. Okay. So there's a lot that goes into this.
There are a lot of factors to consider.
Yeah.
And ideally, you want this study to be what's called double-blind.
Okay.
Which means...
I've heard of that, but remind me.
So neither the participants nor the researchers know who's getting the real thing and who's getting the placebo.
Okay, to eliminate that bias.
Exactly. You want to eliminate any potential bias from either side.
So it's really interesting how much goes into this. Like,
it's complicated.
Proving whether something really works.
It's not simple.
It's not just like try it and see.
No.
Okay.
It takes rigorous research.
And even then, like one study isn't like...
One study is never enough.
The be-all, end-all, right?
No, you want to see multiple studies replicating those findings.
So it's like ongoing...
It's a process. It's not just about finding a quick answer.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And I think... You know, we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
I hope so.
You know, next time they hear about like the next miracle supplement, they're going to be armed with all these questions.
Exactly. They're going to approach it with a more critical eye.
Be those savvy consumers.
Be those savvy consumers. And remember, you know, skepticism isn't about being negative.
Okay.
It's about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And demanding evidence.
Okay. So it's about being like an empowered
consumer.
Right? Taking control of your health.
Yes.
Your health decisions.
I love that. And at the end of the day, even with all the research in the world, the most important voice is your own.
Absolutely.
Like, listen to your body.
Listen to your body.
Be mindful of what works for you.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to, like...
Ask questions. Ask questions.
If something doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Or if you're unsure about a product.
Talk to your doctor.
Talk to a healthcare professional.
Yeah, get a second opinion.
Yeah, that's a perfect note to end on.
I think so too.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into
the Anodotonic.
And
keep those brains engaged, listeners.
That's it for today's deep dive.
Until next time.
Stay curious, stay informed,
stay healthy,
and we'll see you next time.